Okay, now I'm gonna show you some of the products that I use here. All my products are made by Seachum. I don't buy anything else but that. This is one of the products I use here. This is called Equilibrium. And this product here, it'll maintain the balance of your GH and restores it. Now when you use strictly OR water, these are the products that you're going to wind up using to add into the water to change the pH in it, build it up, and the hardness of it. Now this one is alkaline buffer. This one here, alkaline buffer, this raises the pH. RO water, when it comes out of the filter, it has a 0 pH. So this is going to raise it up. Now this, like I was explaining there a while ago, it says on the bottle how much of that to use to bring the pH up to whatever level you're looking for. This one here now, this is the acid buffer. This will lower the pH. That one rarely is used because you don't want to run your pH way up to, like, say 9.0 and then try to use the acid buffer, to bring it back down to 7. Yeah, you can do that, but that's not really advised to do. That's why the alkaline buffer that raises up to pH, that's why you only put a little bit in at a time until you get your pH up to where you want it. And if you're doing, let's say, like a water change, and you got, say, 20 gallons of water, which that's what I do. When I do a water change, I got a 45-gallon aquarium. When I used to do water changes, I used to change 20 gallons. And I would use the alkaline buffer, the one that raises up to pH. And it does say on the back of how much to use, but don't take that like it's written in stone. None of this stuff is written in stone. Now the Equilibrium brings up your GH, which is your general hardness in your water. These are all great products. These are the ones that I use when I do water changes. That's the only time I actually use these, is when I'm doing water changes and I'm using RO water to do the water change. Then I use these products and my meters, which I'll show you in just a minute, to test the water. I put the 20 gallons of water into a heavy-duty tote with a pump to keep the water circulating and a heater. And keep an eye on the heat. Heat is a very important factor when you do water changes. You get that heat much more difference than about 1 degree. That's a drastic change on your fish and your plants. Which once your tank is set up, like I said, for about a year, and all of the Mother Nature, all the bacteria and everything is built into your aquarium, honestly, you really don't need to do a water change. Not unless you're having a problem or something goes wrong. If the nitrates go to the moon, which they shouldn't if you have a good balance of plants in there, or if your pH, if you're having problems balancing out your pH, then you might consider doing a certain amount of a water change. Now you don't, if you got a 45-gallon, you don't have to change 20 gallons. You could change 10, or you could change 5. And the smart thing to do when you make changes in your aquarium, do them in small amounts. And don't do 3, 4, 5 things in the same day, because you could be fighting what you're trying to achieve. So, just fight one thing at a time if you have problems. Most problems, if you're going to have problems, they're going to arise usually within the first year of your aquarium. After that, pretty much you're not going to have any problems, simply because once the tank is set up for a year, you're not going to be putting anything in that tank new. You're not going to add new fish, and you're really not going to add new plants. I mean, yeah, guys do, and you can. But when you set up your tank and you buy the fish that you're going to have in your tank, your choice, once those fish are in that tank for a year and it's just those fish, if you add a new fish in there, chances are they're going to kill it. And that's just about with any kind of fish. Fish are, you know, they're very predatory on their territorial markings, and they don't want nothing else in there. And when you put something in there that's strange, even a plant, sometimes they'll pick at it and eat some of it and stuff like that. So when you first set up your tank and you get it going, try to choose everything that you're going to want in that tank at the same time, or within a week or something like that. Pick all the fish you want, no matter what kind of fish it is. Pick out all the plants that you're going to want, and you know, set it all up. Now, always leave room for your plants to grow, and because your plants are going to grow. And if you do like I did, you know, I'm pumping CO2, or I was, and I did it for a couple of years there. Well, what that does is that enhances the growth of the plants, which is a good idea to do. That's why I did it. But once your plants get to a certain point, you don't need that CO2 anymore. You'll be trimming your plants, you know, every week or so. So I don't really use the CO2 anymore. I don't really need it, like I said. And my plants grow like mad. I got to trim them. Oh, I'd say probably every 2 to 3 months. I have to trim them. Right now, my aquarium, if you can see in the pictures there in the video, you can see that my plants they've grown a lot since I last trimmed them. Excuse me. But it's been about 3 months since I trimmed them. And that's a good schedule if you can do that. You know, some guys, and it's their business what you do, but you pump that CO2 in there, those plants, you know, they'll go wild, especially if you crank that CO2 up to, you know, to where it's at its maximum that you can put in there safely. And there's limits on that too, but I'm not going to get into that today on the CO2. Now the meters that I use, I'm going to show you right now the meters that I use. This one here, this is the box that it comes in, if you can see it. Hopefully you can. That's the box that it comes in. Now this is a this is a redox meter. Redox is kind of important. It's a good thing to check. Redox reads everything that's in your water. It reads all the minerals that's in your water, all the contaminants, everything that's in your water. This redox meter right here, it will read it. Now, there's different levels or different readings, let's say, on this meter that your water should stay within a range. Now, that depends pretty much on your aquarium. As you use this meter for a few months during the first year that it's set up, you will find the range that your aquarium likes to be in. Now, there are preferred ranges for fresh water and salt water, but this redox meter is a very good meter to have, and it's not that expensive. I think I bought this one a couple of years ago. I paid, oh, I don't know, I think it was $30, something like that. This is not top of the line, but it's not a real cheap one either. This is decent. This is the meter you'd want. It comes in a little case and a little box, and You can research it on the internet there, and you can find out quite a bit of stuff about it. I'll show it to you again, so hopefully you can read it, so you can see what I'm talking about here. The meter. You want to get one of these. Any aquarist that's a biologist or something of that nature, they're going to recommend you have this meter. Okay, now the next meter I use is, it comes in, let me see if I can get it out of here so I can show it to you. These boxes, they fit so tight, you know, you just about can't get them out of the box, you know, to show people. And this one is really in there, and it's been that way for a few years. But this is a pH meter and a TDS meter. This is the set that I bought. This is the set that I bought right here, if you can read that. Okay, I bought all this stuff on Amazon.com, just to let you know. And they're simple to use. Some of them come with instructions, and some of them don't. You have to look it up on the internet. Now the yellow one that comes in that kit, this is the yellow meter. This is a pH meter. Very simple to use. And usually what I do with this meter is I'll scoop out like a little whiskey glass full of my aquarium water, and I'll stick this meter into the whiskey glass, into the water, there's a line on it here. Right here's the line. There's a line on it right there at the bottom of this meter. This part here goes into the water. And I'll set it in there with it on. I'll turn it on and I'll set it in there. And I'll watch the pH. When the digital reading on the meter, when it more or less like stabilizes itself pretty much, that's what your pH is. And you can use that daily if you want to. You can use it weekly, whatever you think. You know, like I said, the first year setting your aquarium up, you know, that's when you got to keep a pretty good eye on it. Then you learn your aquarium. To some degree, you can almost just look at your aquarium after a few years, and you can tell if there's something wrong. You know, by the way the fish move, by the way the plants grow, the color of the plants, you know, if they're deep green, light green, all those things, you know, they're telling you, the plants are telling you what they're lacking. If they're lacking a certain mineral, or you know, what's wrong with them. You know, if you're getting brown leaves or something of that nature. Iron is a very good mineral to put in aquarium water for your plants. It'll make your plants real nice and green or red. It really works good on red plants and make them real nice, pretty red. But it's not a must. The next meter I'm going to show you is a TDS and EC meter. That's this one here, if you can see that. TDS. That's it right there, if you can see that. Hopefully you can. Now this meter, like I said a while ago, this meter will kind of read the contaminants inside your aquarium. If you don't keep your aquarium real clean, this meter is going to pick up on that. It's going to pick up on anything that's inside that aquarium. Salt, any ingredient. If you add this equilibrium into your aquarium, you know, for whatever reason, this meter is going to detect that. If you add any of these ingredients, this acid buffer, any of them, this meter will pick that hardness up. Because when you add those ingredients into your water, you're changing the hardness of the water. This meter is going to pick up on that. Now, this meter is not necessarily a hardness meter. No, this is a TDS meter. And if you looked at TDS up on the internet, it's going to tell you dissolved solvents in your water. And there's a certain range, just like with the pH, you know. Most people want their pH around 7.0, depending on what kind of plant you have. and what kind of fish you have. That kind of determines the pH level that you want in your aquarium in the water. Now this TDS meter kind of works the same way, depending on what kind of plants, what kind of fish you have. They all like a different TDS reading of the water. And fresh or salt water, the readings are different. But this kit here, like I said, this kit here comes with the pH meter and the TDS meter in it. This is a real nice kit. I think it was right around $20, $25. Well worth buying, well worth it. And you can keep an eye on your TDS, and once you know the ranges of your aquarium water, where the sweet spot is, what's best to hold your aquarium water at, you can read it with these meters, and you'll know where your aquarium water stands. A lot of new beginner guys, or when you first set up your aquarium, I would highly recommend that you spend the money. This is made by Seachum. This is called a digital spoon scale. You want to buy one of these. Now, you'll use the heck out of it the first year, and sometimes even after that. Now, I'm going to open it up here and see if I can show you what it is and what's going on here with this. Now, this meter, it looks like a big spoon, which in a sense, that's really what it is. It's like a big spoon. The only thing about this one is it has a scale on it here, and it has buttons to calibrate it. And what you do is you sit it down on like the table, on a level surface, like say this is the table. You'd set it on the table like that, and you zero it in like all scales. You zero it in with these buttons on here. You'll zero it in. Now this thing is super precise. It's one of the most precise scales that you'll probably buy for the money, but it works. And what this does is you can measure the ingredients that you're going to put in your OR water. And once you find out, like say a 0.25 amount of this will show up on this digital reading when you put it in this spoon. Say that's what you need for, say, 10 gallons of RO water. You'll measure it out on this spoon and it'll be exact. Then you know how much of each ingredient that you need per, say, 10 gallons of water by using this spoon. And you can't go wrong with it. And write down everything. When you take and you start figuring out how much each ingredient that you put in, say, 10 gallons of RO water that you're going to put inside your aquarium, write down the readings off this spoon. Keep like a ledger. And each month or every 2 weeks or every week, if you're changing your water, you'll know how much by this spoon. And you'll go to your ledger and you wrote it down for, say, 2 weeks ago. Then you put that much in this spoon. And if you put too much, you can take some out of the spoon. It's simple, just dump it out and reread it, or take a toothpick or something, or a tiny mixing spoon, and scoop a little bit of it out, and you'll see the reading change. And this is probably one of the best tools you can buy for your aquarium. It's a little delicate. You don't want to be beating it around and banging it on things. Take care of it. Keep it in its box, and it'll work for you. And that's some of the steps to having a good aquarium like I have. And you won't work your butt off on it. You won't get sick and tired of it, and then you'll wind up throwing it out in the trash, and you wasted all that money, like a lot of people do. If you set it up, you take the time, watch some of my videos. Put that under gravel filter in there. Put the the lava rocks in there inside the filter bags. Buy your gravel, you know, set it up like I told you, like my videos show you, you know, with the air stone and air pumps and that. I put links on which ones to buy. And for the money, even not considering the money, the links that I put on there, that the stuff I use, it's the stuff to buy. And get all this stuff, set your tank up. It's going to take you 6 months to a year, probably close to a year, like I've been saying. And you'll get your tank stabilized. It'll be seasoned in. All of the bacteria will be built down in underneath that undergravel filter. And your plants will grow. And your fish that you have, they'll thrive and they'll be beautiful. Another thing too, if you feed your fish flake food, and I feed my fish flake food, and I feed them bloodworms. Angelfish love bloodworms, freeze-dried. Watch buying live foods. Live foods carry contaminants. They carry parasites and stuff like that. If you're going to feed your fish live food, you got to be a real expert to be able to check that live food, live worms or whatever it might be, feeder guppies, whatever it might be. You got to be experienced. And fish don't have to have live foods. I've had fish for 40 years, and my big angelfish, they're fully grown. They have been. I feed them colored flake food, and you want to buy colored flake food. It's higher in protein, and you'll see the difference in your fish. The color in your fish and stuff will be much brighter and much more stable, and the vitamins and everything that are in the colored flake fish food, your fish will live longer. And feed them bloodworms, freeze-dried bloodworms. Buy those. And you can buy a few other things that come freeze-dried in, you know, in the bottles, depending on what kind of fish you have. You know, different fish eat different things. Well, you can kind of test things. You know, buy small bottles of different kinds of food and see which one your fish like the best. And a lot of times you can look it up on the internet, and it'll tell you, you know, what kind of fish, you know, pretty much what to feed them. Now we're talking about an aquarium that you're going to enjoy. That's going to be in your living room. It's not going to flood your floor. You're going to enjoy this aquarium. You're not going to work your butt off. Your life's going to be a lot easier. This is the kind of aquarium that we're talking about. We're not talking about breeding fish and selling fish. No, this video is not for that. In the future, I'm going to have videos on here that's going to explain a lot of those things. But for now, for the people that want an enjoyable aquarium that you'll watch like you do your TV and you'll enjoy it, my videos that I've put on here, and I've got quite a few on here now about the aquariums. Watch them and try to understand what I'm telling you and do it. And in about a year, maybe sooner, you're gonna love it. You won't even do water changes. You won't need to. But you do have to add the evaporated water, you know, every few days or once a week or whatever. I think in my tank it's about once a week. I have to put about a gallon of water into my tank, and like I said, it's half fresh water out of the tap and it's half RO water. And I found that to be the best trick out of all of it. Now, the first year that you're running your tank, you might want to consider buying a UV sterilizer and run it inside your tank. What that'll do is it'll kill off any parasites, it'll sterilize the water. It's really a good thing to do. They're a little pricey. I think they're $100 or so. You might consider buying one of those, depending on a few factors. You know, if you're going to start off with German blue fish, they're expensive. Well, you don't want to take too many chances with expensive fish. German blues, they're beautiful. Or if you're going to get into the discus fish, or even some of the awesome angelfish like I have, you're going to want a UV sterilizer. And follow the instructions on it. And I may make a video on UV sterilizers, and I'll explain that to you and which ones to buy. You know, naturally for the money, and the ones that'll give you the best effects. Okay, I'm going to end this video now. I hope this helps all you aquarists out there and get you started. And have a nice day, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for coming to my channel. I'm Mr. G. And click the like button for me, please. And subscribe to my channel. We're going to have some awesome videos coming. Thanks a lot, and have a good day.